Ian Rossi, welcome back to the channel. I thought this morning that I would follow up from yesterday's video, which was the first test run of the yikong YK6101. It's such a mouthful. Oh, please, yikong, just start naming your cars. Anyhow, fleeing on. Yeah, it was a disaster. Absolute disaster yesterday. I had absolutely no confidence whatsoever with this car, and I can't blame the car as such. There was so many factors into why yesterday was a disaster that it could quite easily be seen as my fault. So I didn't check the vehicle before, which is a rarity for me. Normally, I will spend a good couple of hours just going around making sure things are Loctited that need to be Loctited. I always check the shocks. So yeah, I broke my own cardinal sin, which did not help. What hasn't also helped is that I will not use plastic wheels. I think for the cost that, the cost to actually add a little bit more weight down there and make your life a little easier. Most plastic, yes, there are some beadlocks, but a lot of plastic wheels are glued. And I think for, a hobby that requires you to go into water and so forth like that, you're just asking for trouble. So I will never glue a wheel. Not in crawling, at least anyway. So anyhow, yeah, yesterday was an absolute disaster. I suffered nothing but rubbing, and when you've got constant rubbing and the worry of damaging a brand new body, which aren't cheap for this. The cheapest I've managed to find is on AliExpress, and it is about 120 Great British pounds, which would probably collate to about $150 for our US viewers, plus about 30 Great British pounds postage, which is again probably just shy of $40. That's not a cheap body, but it is quite a detailed body, so I can't complain. So yeah, the worry of damaging the body, or worse still, ripping a tire. Well, say worse still, it's not. I'd sooner rip a tire than damage the body. But either way, both of those were in peril yesterday, and I just simply had no confidence. I didn't want to steer. I really did not want to steer yesterday because of the rubbing I was having on my arch, and one side was worse than the other. Is that contributed to the bigger wheels, or bigger wheels and tyre combo? Quite likely. Is it also contributed to the fact that I have found that the shocks did not have any oil in? From what I can tell, I've got the car in front of me, I might have oil in about 2 or 3 of them. But that's it. So this morning, I've put the kettle on, I've put myself a nice coffee on, and we are going to have a deep dive. We're going to strip these apart, and we are going to find out which has oil, which doesn't, and put that right. Now, I'm a fan of putting heavier oil in shocks. Most shocks come with about 35 weight. I tend to put anywhere to 60 to 70, sometimes 50. I'll normally start at 50 and I'll go up as heavy as 70. So anyhow, I'm waffling on. So let's go and have a look at the car. Let's see what the problem is. Right, folks, we've got the shock off. It's a nice easy job. The bottom eye does share it does share a mount with one of the links. Nice and easy, just a longer screw, and the top is easily accessible just above our favourite Lexan. Yep, you heard it. Lexan arches. So that's another job I'm going to have to do because I think I've cracked one of those. But anyhow, what I will say, like I've been saying from the word go, there's a little bit of oil in that, but not a lot. That is a very well-made shock. It really is. I just wish it operated as a shock. So anyhow, I've already had this open because that was tight. But there we go. Wow, there is actually oil in that. There is actually oil in that shock. Interesting. So I might be looking. Ooh. It's not very thick though. In fact, that That oil is not very thick at all. So I'm gonna try going down the route of thicker oil. From the look of it, Yikong only do one type of spring, so they don't do firmness. So they don't do firmer springs or anything like that. Looking on their parts list, so that may cause me an issue. It may be a case that I have to start doing some measurements and see if I can find an alternative spring. But we're going to go down the route of putting 60 weight in this, see if that fixes the problem. And if not, then I think we're going to have to look at thicker springs. But I'm going to do that off camera and I'll give you a quick update. Right then, guys, there we go. Right, I've just put some 600 weight Core RC oil in them, which, if I'm honest, what I have just spat out of that, yeah, that it was, excuse the term, it was piss water. There was nothing, it wasn't thick at all. Now I know there's going to be people crying at me going, Ian, what? Wait, oil controls rebound. What the hell you're on about? Yes, but there is that. If there is nothing in it, or if it is too thin, then your piston is going to sag. It's as simple as that. Yes, there are holes in the piston, but it's like any viscosity. It's, yeah, primarily to control preload and it's your spring. That is quite a hefty spring. I mean, that's under preload there, but if we send that up to the top, that is quite a hefty spring. So to a degree, yes, I do agree with you, but a thicker oil will help, and it has helped. That is far better than what it was. That's actually got a little bit of meat and taters to it now. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That is also credit where credit's due to Yikong. One, I owe them an apology for saying that they didn't have any oil in them. I mean, I will defend myself to an extent to say, are you really calling that oil? But but credit to Yikong, that is a very well-made shock. It was, like I say, it was a pig to, that is an aluminium, that's an aluminium cap as well. That's pretty much an all aluminium design, apart from your spring retainer and obviously your tops. But yeah, that's pretty much an all aluminium design. I would buy those as an aftermarket for, say, an axial. I do not like axial shocks. But yeah, that is a very, very well made shock, along with pretty much most of the rest of the car. So well done, Yikong. That is, as I say, you've not cut corners. That's spot on. But yes, I do sincerely apologise for saying you don't put oil in your shocks, because there was oil. I just don't think it was thick enough. So anyhow, I've got another 5 of these to do, so I'm going to crack on. Right, guys, and that is the shock reinstalled. I'm not going to do a video on doing all 6 of them. I'll send you to sleep. But that is loads better. Loads better. Yeah, I'm much happier with that. So, and from the look of it, looking at that arch, yeah, yesterday I did damage both sides. I did damage these. That's my only gripe with this car. It really is my only gripe with this car, is that they're not Lexan. Really. Everything else is just stout. It's just well made. I knew yesterday, as I say, I was really struggling in the way of using the car, but I did know that all these things could be addressed. That's a million times better. And looking at that arch gap, do I think I'm still going to have a little bit of rubbing when it is compressed? Maybe. But because now it is more stout, because of the heavier oil, I think that's going to sit up far better. It's not going to sag as easy as it was. I am potentially going to look on the front to see if I can get some heavier springs. I don't think I can, certainly not from Yikong's own catalogue, but that's a job for me to do to make this. We've got a few guys in the crew at the minute that are running 66s, and I am I am terrible for FOMO. So if boys are bringing 66s, I want a 66. I think I'm going to get away with these Aztecs, which I was somewhat worried. Especially, I mean, initially it was actually the gap between the mid and the rear, but yesterday that didn't seem to cause me any real issues. It's not a great gap. The TRX6 does have a far wider gap than that, and I had thoughts that the tyres are going to rub. It didn't. I didn't have any issues. I mean, I didn't necessarily really put this through its paces yesterday. It was only Bradgate Park. Bradgate has got some nice climbs, but if I'm honest, I didn't fancy doing them with all the rubbing that I was having. I was getting nervous. I ended up turning my endpoints and my steering down to less than 50% because of the amount of rubbing I was getting. So, and that's not fun. I didn't necessarily. I should have loved yesterday. I quite like Bradgate Park, even though it does turn out to be a regular haunt. We probably do Bradgate 8 to 10, even 12 times a year. It is great, but I think you can overdo a good thing. I really do, and that's my. Yeah, that's Bradgate, but it is a great place to give a new truck a run through. So that's why we decided on Bradgate. It's also a nice middle ground for meeting up with my dear friend Ricky. So that was why it was chosen. But either way, that's better. I mean, that is spring. And there you go. That's actually stopping down now. So maybe the oil is probably a little too thick. I think I went down to the extremities, but either way, I'm not going to put that right on the camera. I have got some 50 weight in the shed, but it is better. It's far better than it was. So I'm going to have to redo that anyhow. From what I can hear there is still a tiny bit of air in there, but either way, that is still an improvement as it was. There was nothing to that before. It just bounced all the time. So that is better. As I said earlier in the video, I much prefer a thicker oil in a shock. Sometimes to the point when, if you use 70 on I mean, this is you got to expect it's going to be a heavy truck. It's a 66. But I do prefer a heavier oil. Sometimes you can almost treat them like a droop. I don't want to treat this on a droop because I haven't got a lot of room. But yeah, so it is better. It's not best, but it is better than it was. So I think I need to now look down the lines of potentially a heavier spring. So hello, Nimue. It's my cat. Right, okay, I am now going to do the other 5, but I wanted to address some of the issues that I had yesterday and show you how I am intending to address them. I don't knock a manufacturer unless I am really dissatisfied with something, and I am not dissatisfied with this car. Like I say, from looking at from an engineering perspective, it is very well made. It has not been cheaply made, and I love this car, and I intend to keep it. When I come back, and I told the wife that the issue that I had, first thing she thought is, here we go, that's going on eBay. It's not going on eBay. I'm going to persist with this car. So, right, I've got some work to do off camera, so I am going to bid you all farewell. So, if you like what you have seen this morning, yes, it's very early. I've just let the wife out, and I've just decided to crack on. This should be the day that I have a lie-in. It's my only real day off, but what the hell? I decided this is annoying me. I'm going to get it done. So, yeah. So if you like what you have seen, we'll say today, because you can be watching at whatever time, please like and subscribe. We do love that you know, we love the thought that you enjoy what we do, you know, whether it is the boys mucking around. This is a new thing for me. I tend to do muck around videos with the guys. I don't tend to do technical videos or unboxings or anything like that. But since starting this, I thought, what the hell, let's crack on. So yeah, if you like what you see, like and subscribe, and there will be more content like this. As much as I don't think I'm good at it, I have enjoyed doing this content and doing deep dives on cars and so forth. So, yeah, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. That's about the third time I've said that. And yeah, we will see you soon. Take care.